Hi, good evening, and welcome to the Magic Show, where we learn simple things to make us smart and lazy for the rest of our lives. Our housekeeping rules are now known to all. Those who do not know may just run through the tips written here. Our mantra for, as always, is knowing is not doing, doing is doing. So, knowledge without action is zero. So, with these few words, let's get right into our session. Last time there was no winner for the champion of the day. Upcoming programs, next two sessions are for the paid subscribers, members only, productivity and travel apps. And we will repeat backups to the cloud in the next free session, that is on 5th of May, 5th of March. So let's get right into the session. Tell me, what do you understand by a backup? Quickly in the chat box. Copy of something you want to save, yes. Any other thoughts? Any other? Take back, yes. That is a good definition of a backup. You have to take it back. Same data stored elsewhere, very good. Save for later use, that makes sense, a lot of sense. Why would you want to take a backup? Why would anybody want to take a backup? Data loss mitigation. So there is always a risk of data loss. Why? Because we are dealing with electronics and it can fail in some way or the other, and most of the time things fail when you desperately need them. So it's always a good idea to take a backup. So you have a fear of losing information or data, and if your hard disk fails for whatever reason, all the work that you have done for years would straight away be lost, and you would have no way to get it back. So it's always a good idea and a good thought to keep a backup. Although we say that it's a good idea, but do we always take a backup? Very few people consciously take a backup. Yeah, even though we know that it is a big danger, you might lose all your data, you might lose all your last 10 years of work, if your machine has lasted for 10 years, that is. But there is always this lethargy that we do not wish to take a backup. So typically in the good old days, how did we take a backup? We used to have an external drive. We used to take a backup on a separate hard drive on the same computer. So if you have two hard disks, from one hard disk you take a copy on the other one. Or you have an external drive. These days external drives are cheap and very comfortable. So what you do is you connect it to your USB port and then copy all your data directly onto the external drive. That is the simplest way of taking a backup. But as I said, we have a lot of lethargy. And am I audible? Yes? Okay. A lot of people can hear me. Owen, should I speak louder? Okay, so we have a lot of lethargy. So you have to remember, maybe set an alarm to take a backup once in a week or once in a month, or depending on the type of work you do, the quantity of work you do, and the criticality of anything that you do. So backup is an important part of your computer journey, and everybody has to take a backup. But then, as I said, you are lazy, you forget. Our objective here is to be lazy all the time. So we want an automated backup, and that is where tools come in handy. So today what we will see is one such tool which is automatic, reasonably priced, and backup happens without our intervention. That is what we want, because it should be automatic, totally automatic. We don't want to intervene at all. So let us quickly see what an online or a cloud backup looks like. Okay, so our backup looks something like this. Can you see my screen? Backup. Yeah, so it looks something like this. So what we are going to do is set up a system where whatever work we do anywhere automatically gets backed up onto the cloud, that is onto a server somewhere remote. It could be in America, it could be in UK, it could be in Canada, it could be anywhere in the world. And as far as I am concerned, as a user, I don't care where that cloud system exists. We had touched upon this when we talked about Google Drive earlier. If you remember, we had touched upon this earlier. So what the idea is that from any computer, if you do anything, for example, this is your main desktop or this is your main desktop, whatever you do, or your laptop or your tablet or your mobile phone. So anything that you do anywhere should be backed up, and it should be available to us on any other device. So you can't say that this file I forgot in my office, or this file is lying at home and therefore I cannot access it. You should be able to access whichever file, a half-done document, a half-done spreadsheet, anywhere where you are, anywhere in the world, whether you are sitting in India, you are sitting in Europe, you are sitting in Sri Lanka, you are sitting in Japan, anywhere in the world, you should be able to access it. That is the beauty of a cloud backup. So it resides somewhere in the cloud. So what are the two basic things that you require to access, or first of all, to create a backup and then to access it? There are two things that you require. You need a device with a net connection. That is number one, most important. A device with a net connection, and the second is a secure password. So these are the only two requirements. Any device with which you can connect to the net and you have a secure password to access it, obviously, because you don't want anybody else to view your data. So you need a secure password. So these are the only two things that you require. So a cloud backup, I always like to look at it as a lady's secret. Yeah, you tell it to one person and it is all over the place. So what you do is you upload it from here automatically, and then all your other devices can see it immediately. Now immediately means it may be after 1 minute, after 2 minutes, etc. But automatically it gets reflected all over the place, and that is what a cloud backup is. Now most of the cloud backup servers, what do they do? One is, of course, they back up to the cloud. They sync across devices, so your data is synchronized. So on any device, you are in the office, you work on your computer, you go home, you start your laptop, the data, the files, whatever you have been doing should be available to you at any point of time on demand. It syncs across devices. You can also do a file sharing, since there is one common database which is very much in the cloud. It is connected through a secure password through an internet connection. You can share your data. Suppose you have a document which is a collaborative document. You are working on it. It may be an agreement, it may be a spreadsheet, it may be a presentation, and you are collaborating on it. So there are 3 people working on it, 5 people working on it. So you should be able to share that document with the others so that it is easy and you don't have to keep sending the document back and forth. So suppose I have worked on it just now and I want my collaborator to work on it after 10 minutes, after half an hour. He should be able to do so. He should be able to pick up from where I left and automatically start working on it. After he completes it, when I see it, it should be the revised document which we can share. And I should be able to also email large files. Typically, all mailboxes have some limitation in terms of sending large files. So whenever you have a file which is large enough and you cannot send it in your normal email. If you remember, we had talked about file sharing. If you remember, we had talked about WeTransfer. We had talked about so many other file sharing, send this file, etc. So just one second. So you should be able to email large files. When you say email large files, what actually are you doing? You are just sharing that file with somebody else directly from the cloud. So you should be able to download it automatically, number one. So when you are sharing a file, you should be able to give him a permission to either view the file only, or he can even edit the file. So these are the 2 options that you could be giving to people when you share the file with them. So you should be able to email large files. Now, when I started thinking about this backup to the cloud, I was thinking about one session and we will do n number of things within this session, but then I stopped short at only one app, which is called Dropbox. Dropbox is a tool which does this in a very, very efficient way and very, very fast way. So let us see how Dropbox works. Have you ever heard of Dropbox? How many people have heard of Dropbox? Quickly in the, yes, everybody has heard of Dropbox. It is one of the pioneers in doing this file sharing. Yes, you are using Dropbox, that is great. So a lot of people are using Dropbox in different ways at different points of time. Most people are happy with using a free account. Many people, when their needs are growing, they have paid for it and they have gone through. So how do we access Dropbox? Everybody should know, because this is one of the oldest. Actually, everybody has learned from Dropbox. Even your Google Drive has learned from Dropbox. Okay, can you see my screen, blank screen now? Quickly give me a yes or no. Yeah. So how do we go to Dropbox? We just try dropbox.com and we are into Dropbox. Okay. Okay, I just logged in automatically because I already have an account and I have said save my this thing. I'll just let me log out for those. So I'll just say sign out.
Sir, your screen is not shared, I guess. We are still seeing the Google PowerPoint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you can see Dropbox.
Yes, sir. You can see it now.
Yeah. Okay. So very simply, it takes you to a blank screen. You can go and sign in with Google. You can create your own user ID password and sign in straight away. You just have to give your email address and your password, and it will straight away let you enter Dropbox. The idea is you can have Dropbox for business, that is for teams, or for individuals. I have selected Dropbox for individuals. You can select it for teams where you can do many more things in terms of sharing of data, in terms of collaborating, etc., what we talked about. Okay, so straight away we sign in. Once you sign up in the first stage, when you sign up, it will give you all the steps that you have to take. You have to download the app onto your computer. Automatically it will be downloaded. It will create a directory of its own, and it will sit quietly there and wait for your backups to happen. So let me say sign in. Oops. My LastPass is inactive. Okay, sorry. I don't remember any of the passwords. I always use LastPass. And if I don't have LastPass, I can't. And if you remember, we had done this two-factor authentication earlier. So I have a two-factor authentication for LastPass. Hopefully it should work now. Yeah. So now I am into my Dropbox. I have got so many documents. I have got so many folders. So some are presentations, some are PDF files, some are pictures, blah blah blah. I can say all files, and it will show me all the files that I have in my Dropbox. So just as an overview, we will see what are the things on the left. You have home, we have all files, we have shared files, file requests, and deleted files. Okay. On the top right, we have a small icon with my photograph. You may have your photograph or just your initials, and you can quickly see I am using 17 GB of 22 GB of storage. And then I have settings and how do I install the Dropbox app on my machine. That option is there. And of course, if I am working in a team, I can add a team account. So let us see how this works. So we have so many documents here, some spreadsheets, some folders, some backups from my PC, and lots of other stuff like some brochures, some screenshots, etc., some prayer books, warranties I have stored. Okay, so I have a lot of files which I have and some folders that I have. Now what can I do with each of these files? These are, we'll see how to upload, etc. You have this option straight away here, upload. So either I can upload files or I can upload a folder. This is for manual upload. If I want to manually upload any files which are not in my Dropbox folder, I can upload files. I will explain to you how the automatic backup works. This is the manual stuff. You can straight away go and upload files. When you say upload files, it will open up your computer hard disk, and you can pick up any file and say upload this file, or you can upload any folder. So that is how one would have got so many files here. Okay, now once you have all these things, what are the options here? You will see that these are modified on so and so dates. That is the last time you had touched it. It was, obviously you can organize it by name. So you can organize it by ascending order of name or descending order of name. You can see the date modified, ascending or descending, and how many people you have shared this file with. So there are 2 people to whom I have shared this file with. This is only me. There are 3 people to whom I have shared this file, this folder, etc., etc. So it shows you with how many people you have shared it. And then there is this option, there is a small I, which helps you to preview it. So you can just preview the file. If you click on it, it gives you a quick preview of the file. You can't still work on it. You can just have a preview of the file. Okay. And beyond this, for example, if you want to add people to share, you can say share it with XYZ. So you just click on it, put the email IDs here, or you can copy a link and give a link to anybody else. That person may or may not be using Dropbox. He can still share this file. Then you have a whole lot of options in more. Out here on the right, you will see you can open this file. That means you can open it in PowerPoint for the web, you can open it in Google Slides, and you can preview it in the Dropbox, which is the same thing as the preview here. We have seen the preview button here, which is the same thing. So depending on what you use, either you are using Microsoft Office, then you will use PowerPoint for the web. If you are using Google Docs, then you will use Google Slides, or you can preview it in Dropbox itself. See, this is very, very powerful. You can open it in an app of your choice. Okay. Then you can share it, obviously. This is the same thing as this share button here. You can click on it and add an email so the email can go. Now here again the option is anyone with this link can edit or only can view. So I can give view only rights, or I can give edit rights also. Okay. And or I can create and then copy a link, in which case I can straight away give the link to anyone I wish to share this document with. Now if this is a large file, I can transfer it directly from here. So you don't have to go to another app like WeTransfer or send this file or get this file, etc. I can straight away transfer this file directly from here. So what it does is it sends a link of the file to the recipient. That recipient will just click on it and he can download it directly. I have the option to download it myself. So if I want it back on my computer, for some reason, if it is not synchronized, I'll explain to you why it need not be synchronized always. I can even download the file. Obviously, then move, copy, rename, delete. I can add a comment to this particular file. So when I say add a comment, I can come here and type a comment. Now I can type a comment for a particular area on this. So I can say I want to type a comment for only this. And I want to say this is something I know. Say see, this is Sears Towers. And I can post it. So anyone with whom I am sharing this file will see my comments also with the link. Where is this? In the entire presentation, where this particular thing resides, I can straight away give comments. Are we clear on this comments business? Comments is very simple. You just open the file and you have comments on the right, and you can leave your comments. Traffic and insights, of course, how many people have accessed this file, how often this file has been accessed, etc. You can. Watermarking is available only on PDFs. We will see that also. And send for signature. This is something else which we will see presently. For the time being, we are just seeing the options here. So we can add a comment, we can pin it to Dropbox, we can star it, means show it that it is important. Pin means it is coming on the top. Star means there might be so many things which are important, so you will mark them as stars, where you can say, when you're searching, you can say I want to search for a file with a star. And a very interesting thing is this version history. It tells you how many times, who has opened this file, and what changes were made. So you have up to 1 month's version history. So if you are sharing this file, you have the version history also. So you know exactly who has made changes, how many times it has been changed, and what has been changed. If there are more than 2 people, you can even know who has changed what at what time. So very, very useful and very powerful. So here, of course, this is only by me, so there is only added by me only directly on the web. You can restore any version below to make it the current file. All other versions will still be saved. So if I have 3 iterations, suppose during 1 week we are working on some presentation and I have 3 iterations and I want to go back to the second iteration, I can straight away go to the second iteration, click on it, make it the current version. The other versions will all still be saved. So I will still know who had made changes there. But here I will get the current version always. Okay, so when I come here, I will always see the current version. So these are all the options that you have when you are looking at a particular file. Are we clear so far? Yeah, you can preview, you can share, you can do a whole lot of things out here. Okay, so this is one thing that we are able to do with files which are already there. Then we have this option called create. Can you see this option on the top left? It is called create. Now I can create a folder, I can create a shared folder, I can create what is called as a Dropbox paper. We will see that shortly. Quickly we will see, I can create a Word document, Excel workbook, PowerPoint presentation, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides. So I have full control over what. Yes, we'll come to the capacity of Dropbox. Very shortly we'll come to the capacity of Dropbox. So you can create a document in any of the formats, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, which is our normal Microsoft family. And you have the Google Docs family, that is Google Docs, Google Sheets and Google Slides. You can create anything in whatever format you want. So these are, we all know how a Word document looks like, an Excel workbook looks like, and a PowerPoint presentation looks like, or a Google Doc looks like. We have gone through this earlier. Let us come to this concept of what is a Dropbox paper. When you say I want to create a Dropbox paper, this is a canvas which Dropbox allows us to create, where you can do so many more things. It is not just a document. So it says give me a name. So I'll say test document. Write something brilliant. Now when I go to the writing area, see what are the options down below. If you see here, it is not just text. Text is very fine. I'll just write some. See, automatically it is giving who has written this. My name comes automatically. So if it is a collaborative document and somebody else writes the second line, automatically that person's name will come. I'm just typing some junk. Okay, so I can do a text. I can add a picture, add images. Look at the bottom panel, add images. I can add media. I can add media means what? I can add a music file, I can add a video file, audio file, whatever I want to add, I can add it directly from here. So this is not just one text file or a spreadsheet. In a text or spreadsheet, you are looking at it linearly. Here you are looking at it as a multifunctional thing. So you can add media. You can even add files from Dropbox directly. So I can say I want to add a file, paste a Dropbox link or browse your files. So I'll say browse a file. I want to add this particular file. Okay, so I have added this file, and if I click on it, automatically it will show it to me. This is the file that I have added. Of course, this is a PowerPoint, so it has one of 17, so I can straight away play my PowerPoint. Inside this, what we call as a, what did we call this? It is the Dropbox paper. Okay, so I can put a document inside this, I can put a PowerPoint presentation inside this, I can create a table quickly. I want to write something in the table. Isn't this cool? You can add so many things within the same document. So this is what Dropbox paper is all about. You can create a timeline, plan out each step. So you can create a Gantt chart, or you can create a project schedule, etc. Can you see this? How beautifully it does it on the spot. There is absolutely nothing I did. Or you can create a to-do list. So you have check boxes and you have a to-do list. Okay. No, not yet. Apple format documents are not allowed. At least I could not see it. And you can have a bulleted list, numbered list, selection break, add a code. You can even write some code out here, but that's okay. That is a little. So can you see what all you can do here straight away, and then you can share it automatically. This is called a test document. You can say share, and you can share it with somebody. Now here itself I can say anywhere I say at, I can give the name of the person or the email address. So I can say at okay, so now this fellow will be notified. Joseph P will be notified, assigning a to-do to someone, shares the document with them. So I don't want it to be done. But if I have multiple people in this task list, I can straight away go on adding the task. You can say add and pick up any name, and it will automatically notify that person. Now see here again, there are one or two other aspects. One is it says I can set a due date. So when I'm giving this task to somebody, I can give a due date, and it will remind that person and me that this task is to be done by this person by so and so date. And there is something called comment. So I can put a comment here. And post a comment. So this guy will also get the, and when he gets this, he can respond to this. If you remember, we had done this in Google Docs also. We had said @ and given the email ID, and automatically it will post a comment. Now all this, no, the whole document is shared. Whatever you say at, you can write at anywhere. You can write at here also. You can write at just before this also, in the text also. So the entire document will be shared. When you say share, if you see share is on the top, so it is for the entire document. Obviously when you're doing collaborative work, when you're doing a large project, etc., you can create this sort of a document, or what is called as a Dropbox paper. I just say back. There is auto save, so I don't have to save anything. Okay. So this test document.paper is there. If I click on it, I will see the entire document as we created it. Yeah. So very simple to create paper. It's called, in fact, the extension is called paper. It is unique to Dropbox. You can do anything. You can put audio, spreadsheet, to-do list, give notification to others, etc., etc. So it's a very powerful tool when you are creating Dropbox. You can create Dropbox paper template. So if it is a weekly report, you can create a template and give them read-only rights. They can share it in Dropbox and start working on it. So this is whatever you can do with any file that is here. You have something called a shared area, where whatever you have shared with others will come here. Okay, somebody has shared with you or you have shared with somebody else. Okay, so it is all listed here. It becomes easy for you to handle. File requests is something very interesting. So when you are sending large files, that is fine. You can just go to that file and say file or folder and just say share. Okay, but when you are saying file request, you are asking somebody to send you a file, new request. Explain what the request is for. Documents for creation of new website. And then I can write a small extra details, whatever I want to type. Okay, it can be quite large. Now I am requesting for documents. I am requesting for all the documents. Suppose I am now creating a website and I have got 5 people in the department of the company who have to give me information, either images or data or whatever. So I will say I will create a folder automatically, documents for creation of new website. This was the folder that I had for ABC, for example. Okay, so automatically it creates a folder like this and I say create. Now what happens is I have to send this request to so many people. So I will put their email addresses and I'll add a message, or I can directly share a link. So I'll just say copy. Now see the fun of it. Just go to another window. I'll just copy this and ask that person. Now what that person will see is something like this. He will see documents for creation of new website, blah blah blah, etc. He just has to add files here. When he adds files here, it can be one file, it can be multiple files, the file size can be anything. There is no restriction. So when he says add files, or he can just drag the files here, he can go and drop all the files here, and what will happen is it will come and sit in my folder called documents for creation of new website for ABC automatically. So I don't have to download it from the email, I don't have to push it to my folder for the particular project, etc., etc. Automatically it goes directly into my. So just like you are sending files, transferring files, you can even receive the transfers. They could be really large files, they could be movie files, they could be audio files, they could be pictures, whatever. So straight away the recipient can just add files, automatically it will be uploaded and directly it will come and sit in the special folder that I have created for this particular purpose. Now this is really cool. Are we getting this option about request files or file request? This is very useful, and this I have not found it anywhere else. It's a very useful tool. I can request files from anyone. And of course, deleted files, it holds the files for 30 days. If you have by mistake deleted something, it holds the file for 30 days and automatically it will push it into. So there is a folder history, there is a file request. Then let us see some tools out here on the right top in settings. You have settings. Of course, general is your basic data, time zone, etc., etc. What plan you are on just now. So I am on a free plan. Now what happens is Dropbox gives you 2 GB of space to start with. Okay. When you invite others and they use the link that you have provided, then Dropbox allows you 500 MB more space, and it gives your friend also 500 MB more space. So if so many of my friends have gone on adding, I have got 22 GB space which I am using for free. I am not using the 2 GB which was the original. So when I say invite a friend, I'll get a link, get up to 16 GB of free desktop space. I'll just say copy the link. Okay, now if I invite you and you click on it and you join Dropbox free, there is no charge for it. Okay, now you click on this and you join, you get 500 MB extra, I get 500 MB extra at no cost to any of us. So this is something which Dropbox encourages so that it goes viral automatically. They are not spending, you are actually creating customers for them. Once they get to use it, then they go for a paid plan, then that is their benefit. What benefit you get by sharing this is both the recipient and the sender both get 500 MB more space in their Dropbox. Okay, but you should not be a Dropbox user already, obviously, because you already have Dropbox. This is only for new users. So if anybody clicks on this link and subscribes to Dropbox, automatically Dropbox will give 500 MB to that person and 500 MB to me. Okay. No, you can connect it with Outlook also. I will show it to Outlook also. It is not limited to Gmail contacts. You can use Dropbox. Of course, you can use Dropbox if you are not using Chrome. You can be using Edge, you can be using Firefox, you can be using anything. This is nothing to do with Chrome. Although there are some things which it helps you do only in Chrome. We will see that. So in the settings, as I said, when you see your plan, you have this option to invite a friend, and automatically, so sometime back there was a Samsung promotion, so I had got 3 GB from there in 2015. Then there was another Samsung promotion which gave me 50 GB, but I did not use it, so it expired in 2015. Then somebody has referred and got 500 MB more from him and for me also. Yeah. Then of course security, you can do a security checkup, password, two-step verification, like all other apps it allows you for, and it tells you which browser you had currently signed in from. You can disable something, like for example this Chrome on Windows I had used in some other machine, I can just delete it. Okay, and what are the devices that are connected to this particular Dropbox. Notifications is what is happening when, etc. Connected apps, you can connect a whole lot of things. You can connect Zoom directly, or Zoom calls can be made directly from here. Hello Sign, this is something very interesting where you can actually sign documents digitally. So when you are, I will show this to you, but Hello Sign is something. Microsoft Office Online, I have a subscription, so it connects automatically to Microsoft Office. Default apps, so since I am connected to Microsoft Office, it is showing me all these Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. And of course, if you want branding, then when you're sharing, you should have a paid plan where you can use your branding also. Okay, so these are the things that are there in your settings. You can install the Dropbox app in case you have got it uninstalled, or if you are using a new machine, you can straight away go here, say install Dropbox and download Dropbox to get started. Okay, so now this is where the fun comes. We have not talked about the backup so far. So this is where the fun comes. Once you install the app, what happens is Dropbox goes and sits in your hard disk. And 1 second, I'll just show you where it sits and what it does. I will stop this share. And go for a new share. Okay, this is my computer screen. Everybody can see my computer screen now. Dropbox goes and sits in a tray on the bottom. Can you see this on the bottom right? Okay, it says Dropbox up to date. If you don't find it here, you just press on this up arrow and it will be sitting somewhere here in one of these. So the Dropbox, so I just click on it and now see what all is happening. So recent things, there was a file which I added 8 minutes ago. Maybe it is a file that we have talked about in terms of creating that Dropbox paper. If you click on this, there is something called preferences. Now this is where the entire magic happens. So what happens is Dropbox is installed in my account. My account details are here. I can add team. I can have an automatic backup. Now this is where the automatic backup takes place. I don't have to do anything. I just have to set it up once. So I say manage backup. So it says that from my PC, everything that is on my desktop, that is in my documents and in downloads folder will be backed up. So the minute I add anything on any of these areas, automatically it will be backed up. Okay. So Dropbox creates a directory called C:\my documents Dropbox, and there it sits and it takes all these links automatically. So everything that is in the downloads folder will be there in my Dropbox online, that is in the cloud. I have to do nothing about it. You can store data file only or can store software also like Tally. You can store software, but Tally may not run from there. But as a backup, yes, you can store Tally there. You may not be able to run Tally, but yes, you can store any software also. It can be an exe file, it can be data file, whatever. So what we saw was here in the preferences, backups, manage backup. You can also set it up to enable camera uploads for photos and videos. So whenever you take a picture on your phone, automatically your photos and videos can be backed up directly onto Dropbox. Obviously, it is going to eat a lot of space. So you should have a lot of space in your Dropbox. We'll talk about space separately. Then Dropbox is one of the only apps which allows you this bandwidth option. When you're working in your office, you're doing a lot of work, 2-3 different accounts may not be possible on the same computer. No, you will have to have one account on one computer. There may be a workaround, but I would not recommend doing that. Now, bandwidth is something where you're working online, you're doing uploading, downloading, you're working on Gmail, etc., etc. So I don't want Dropbox to continuously hog my bandwidth and slow down my other processes. So I can even create this sort of a thing. When I'm downloading, I'm saying don't limit, but when I'm uploading, I'm saying limit automatically to a certain speed. Now, when you say automatically, what I'm saying is if I'm doing an upload download, then automatically slow down the Dropbox synchronization. When I'm saying don't limit, that means it will go at full speed and automatically it will upload or download. LAN sync is an interesting thing. Enable LAN sync. So if you are on a LAN, if you are having 5 computers in a particular office and all computers are connecting to the same account, then your uploads will be much faster from one computer to the other. Automatically synchronization will take place. You don't have to upload everything in Google Docs or in any other software. What happens is it uploads to the cloud and then it downloads from there. In this case, if you are on a LAN, automatically it will synchronize within your system. So this is very important. Enable LAN sync. Yeah, automatic backup screen. See, that's what I'm saying. It is automatically set up. Again, I'll tell you, once you install the Dropbox app, this will come and sit here, and in your here, this will be automatic. You don't have to do anything about it. It just comes and sits here in your tray, system tray, and you go here and look up your preferences. When you see your preferences, you have all these other options. Notifications are there, and then of course sync. You can pause a sync, or you can do a selective sync. Now this is interesting. When you select which folders sync to this computer. Now a lot of times what happens is that you have limited space on your laptop computer. So you may have 128 GB, 256 GB SSD drive on your computer. You want to back up a lot of stuff online without holding it on your computer. So you can use selective sync. You can say only these folders will be synced to my computer. I don't want all. So I want selectively, I say only this or only this, and these will be synced. So syncing is both ways. As you understand, it will sync from your computer to the cloud, as well as from the cloud to your computer. Once you have pushed it to the cloud, I don't want it to sync again and again with my computer. I don't want it on my computer. So that also selectively you can select. And see where the Dropbox directory is, C:users ss Dropbox. This is where your Dropbox directory is. You can move it to your external drive. If you have an external drive, you have a USB drive, you have a external drive, I can say move it there so that it doesn't clog my local hard disk. So my local hard disk is not clogged. It will be automatically taken directly to my external hard disk. So these are the various options that we have as far as syncing is concerned. So you can do a selective sync. If you have a paid account, you can even do a smart sync, as they call it. So there are lots of options here also. When you go to Gmail, let me see this also, there is an option. If you have Gmail, then you can install an extension. I'll just share the screen for you, 1 second. Okay, you can install an extension called Dropbox for Gmail. Okay, so as usual, we just say Dropbox for Gmail extension. Okay, so it is there on the Dropbox site. I have already installed it, so I only have the option to remove it from Chrome. I can add it to Chrome. Once I add it to Chrome, the beauty is that when I am getting mails, I can directly download the attachments into Dropbox. Here I don't have any attachments. Or suppose I am saying compose. I am saying I want to send a mail to XYZ. I have some subject and here my Dropbox icon comes and sits. in my mailbox. The minute I click on it, it will open my Dropbox, all the files on my Dropbox. Oops. For some reason this fellow is not connecting. I can straight away go here and add items, or when I have to download, let me see if I have some this is okay. So there is something here with an extension. Okay. So now if I have some extension here, I have the option to directly download it into Dropbox. Can you see the Dropbox icon here? So it goes to my Dropbox, shows me all the folders there and says which folder you want to add it to. Or I can even create a new folder straight away. So I don't have to download it to my computer, then upload it again on my Dropbox. It happens on the fly. So if you have an extension called Dropbox for Gmail, it happens automatically. Now these are very, very useful tools. You can see my screen now. Yeah. Now when you are in Dropbox, you also have the option to, okay, one second. When you have a document, for example, you have a document like this, you want to sign it, Dropbox allows you to sign the document by an app called Hello Dropbox. And that is very, very useful. Once you have created a signature, you can use it again and again. Let me see if I can open it. Okay, so I have something. Sorry, I don't have to preview it, I have to open it. Suppose I have this PDF document. I have already signed this. See, it says into bracket signed. I will show you how to sign a particular document. Yeah, let's see this one. Open this document. Okay, so there is something, this is a PDF document which has some pictures, some text, etc. Now I want to sign this document. So I say send for signature. So it says preparing the document for signing. I hope you can see my screen. So I am the only signer, I'll say. So it prepares the documents. Okay, now signature. So I'll say I want to use my signature out here. I have already created one signature. I say insert. So my signature is now embedded on the document, on the PDF document. I can then share this document with anyone I want, or I want only my initials. So I say initials, come here. I have created my initials here. I say insert. I can put my initials on each page. I can put my signature on the last page. And this is, of course, this is a free version. So it says you can send 2 more documents this month for free. And if I want unlimited documents, obviously I have to pay for it. Okay. Okay, so this is in brief. One second, I have to show you something else also. I want to. So first time you go there, when you say create signature, it will connect an app called Hello, and it will add the signature. I wanted to show you something else. One second. Just a quick comparison. People were talking about the sizes, etc. So Google Drive gives you 15 GB storage, which is shared with your Gmail also. Dropbox by default gives you 2 GB storage. But then, as I said, if you invite friends, you get 500 MB every time somebody signs up with your link. The upgrade for 2 terabytes for Google Drive is $100 per annum. Dropbox is $120 per annum. Block syncing, this is something interesting. They say it is how Dropbox works is slightly different from how any other syncing software works. What happens is when you make changes in a document which is synchronized in Dropbox, it will only change that block in the document. It will not upload the entire document. Only the block will be changed and it will be uploaded. So it is super fast as compared to any other synchronizing software where the entire file, so if it's a large file, it can take a while. It may take almost a minute to sync, whereas in Dropbox it is very fast. Referrals, we already discussed that there are no referrals in Google Drive. Here you have referrals where you can invite a friend and get 500 MB on both sides. LAN sync, we saw that if you are on a LAN, automatically it syncs, but in Google Drive it doesn't happen like that. It all the way it goes to the server and then it syncs with your machine. Control bandwidth, also we saw how we could control the bandwidth. Search, of course, Google being Google, search in Google is much more powerful, whereas search here is normal. Photo storage, of course, Google has a separate unlimited space for photos, whereas in Dropbox it is part of the original. Sharing in Google is simple, but here in Dropbox you can even give a password and an expiry date for sharing. So if he doesn't look up that document in a particular time frame, he will not be able to see it. And transfer of ownership, suppose you want to transfer the entire account to some other account, in Dropbox it is much better, whereas in Google there is a limited transfer of ownership. Okay, now there are others who are similar to Dropbox. There is SugarSync, there is Box.com, there is Sync.com. So you can go to all of them, maybe compare prices. The only advantage of Sync.com, I must mention, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles of Dropbox, but the most important thing in Sync.com is the data, once it is on their server, is encrypted. In Dropbox, in Google Drive, on the server, it is not encrypted. It is always encrypted on during transit. So during transit, nobody can hack your data. But once it is on the drive, it is very difficult for you to hack Google Drive also. But Google servers have the ability to read your data. In Sync.com, they don't have the ability to read your data. Sync cannot read your data. So sync.com gives you 5 GB space, so you can use it for your very, very important confidential documents, and for your regular stuff, you can still use Dropbox or Google. So that is the advantage of sync.com. It is a relatively new company, sync.com. It is Canada based. They have all the GDPR laws, etc., etc. So no outside country can even ask for the data. The entire data is encrypted. So even if they want to give the data, they cannot give the data because they themselves cannot look at it. So to that extent, sync.com is very, very secure. Okay. So these are some of the comparisons and pros and cons for Dropbox. Okay, if anybody has any questions. Safety in documents. Is there a locker facility? Yes, in sync.com you have a locker facility where those documents will not be synced. They are always remaining online. Yes, in sync.com you have that option. I'll just quickly share with you if you have little time. We have already overshot as usual. Sync.com. Can you see my screen? Yes. So simple login password is all simple, but the beauty with sync.com is there is something called accounts, sign in. Okay, these are your normal files, and there is something called Vault. Now Vault is empty. Files added to the Vault do not get synced to your other devices. So suppose you have created a file at home and it will not sync with your office computer, it will not sync with your any other computer. Okay, allowing you to free up space by archiving your files in the cloud. This is like that selective sync which we talked about in Dropbox. Okay, but the only distinguishing factor in sync.com is that all your files are encrypted all the time, even on their servers. But Google and Dropbox both tell you that they have access to your files for recovery purposes, for data purposes, etc., etc. Normally they would not look at it, but they have the permission from you, because when you sign up you say I have read all the terms and conditions and you are free to do whatever you want with my data. So you have to be a little careful. Sync.com does not have that. It always ensures that all the files, even during transit as well as on the web, they are all encrypted all the time. And they can be decrypted only if you log in with your user ID and password and nothing else. Nobody else can see it. I hope you enjoyed the session. There is a lot of things only in Dropbox. So you have to explore whenever you have the time. 2 GB is a good starting point. And then if you keep on sharing, then you go on adding 500 MB at a time, and it can be, photos will be saved with full resolution. Google also allows you to save. See, as long as you have the space, you can, the limit is like you can go up to 5 terabytes, 3 terabytes, whatever. There is no limit to that. You can save photos in full resolution. Yes. Any other questions? Question of the day. Ready? Very simple question. Actually, today is a very simple question. I think I've asked it before, but I thought maybe since we are talking of Dropbox and syncing, and we are talking of transfer of files from Dropbox to Dropbox, etc., etc. What is the maximum file limit for an extension in Gmail? Quick. 25 GB, 5 GB, 15 GB, 4 GB, 10 MB. Come on, no one's got the right answer yet. Actually, I've stopped sending attachments from Gmail. And it's either from Google Drive or from Dropbox or whatever. 100 GB, 20 GB, no. 12.5 MB, no. The maximum size for an attachment, 25 MB is the right answer. Yes, Janvi, you got it right. 25 MB is, you can't send 25 GB and 15 GB in, as an attachment. Gmail will throw you out. It will not. 25 MB is the right answer. Janvi Gajaria, you are the winner. Please send me your bank details and I will transfer. Of course, now, of course, the new rule is different. Sorry. You will get a free subscription to the exclusive club. Yeah, there is no cash. The new rule is that you get a subscription to the exclusive club and for 3 months, and that's about it. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. Wish you all the best. If you have any questions, send them on WhatsApp. I'll try to answer as many as I can. No, Janvi, you don't have to do anything. What we will do is you will get a. Are you a subscriber to the exclusive club? If you are already a subscriber, your subscription will be extended. If you are not a subscriber, you will get 3 months free subscription to all the exclusive events that we have. So the next 2 events starting from this month and onwards for 3 months, you will get it all free. Okay? Thanks a lot. Wish you all the best. Stay safe, stay protected. Good night and good day to those who are from abroad. Please send me your mobile number, Janvi, so I can add you. Are you there, Janvi, or have you left? Yeah. Thank you. So what we will do is we will add you to the exclusive club membership for free for 3 months. Good night. God bless.